Hi everybody, before we start today, don't forget about checking out membership on my channel. Right here, click on my channel name, and then you can click on the join button on my channel homepage and find out more about all the perks you get with membership on my channel. Appreciate you taking a look at it. Kurt Berglund's Baseball World, click there, and then click the join button and you'll get all the information about the exciting things that are for my members of my channel right now, and of course I'll be expanding that a whole lot over the next few months. Thank you so much, and let's get to today's video. Hello friends, and welcome back to Kurt Berglund's Baseball World. I apologize for my voice, a little under the weather, but I did promise you some data from Statis Pro. As you know, I've been using vintage Statis Pro to replay the 1983 Brewers season. And I am 21 games into the replay, and we did some stats. And I want to share those with you. And it's a little bit of a cautionary tale because I've had two extremely high run-scoring games. In Statis Pro, as you know, the pitcher controls the outcome on D6 results from 2 to 12. Well, the Brewers faced two pretty bad starting pitchers, and the score got out of hand in both cases. But before we get to that story, let's take a look at the aggregate numbers so far here early in the replay. Now, I'm using as played lineups, because if I don't, heads explode all over this great land of ours. That works for the most part. In vintage Statis Pro, not every player is carded, but so far it's worked out. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the individual stats, then the team stats, and then I'll show you the two games that got out of hand and have made my numbers a little bit wonky. But first, let's look at the individual hitting. I'm going to come back next week with a look at pitching numbers for Statis Pro. Well, following Harvey Keene's as played lineups, I'll throw some light on the subject here. Maybe that'll be easier. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just pulling the 8 starters here. The 8 normal position player starters. In 1983, Harvey Keene was coming off their World Series appearance and rode these 8 guys pretty hard. Gorman Thomas, of course, is going to be traded in about a month from where we are in the replay. But and then he'd be replaced by Rick Manning. But the principle is the same. He plugged in Manning and just went. So most of these guys don't have any rest yet. Thomas missed a game, Moore missed a game, and Simmons missed a game, but everybody else has started every game. Here's our at-bat totals. Cooper leading with 103. Runs scored, so you can see that things are a little high here, but there's an excellent reason for that, and that is the 2 games I talked about. Cooper has 22 runs scored in 21 games. Simmons has 23 runs scored in 20 games. Hits, Simmons leads with 39. Ogilvy right behind him with 38. Runs batted in, Molitor at 19. Ogilvy at 20, and Thomas, amazingly enough, at 21. But he's got all the base runners on ahead of him. Doubles, Molitor at 9, Gantner at 8, Simmons at 9. Triples are triples. Cooper's leading in home runs. He's tied with Thomas for 6 each. There's the walks. The only guy on base I'm stealing is Molitor, and this is a problem that I have just personally in replays, and that is my stolen bases are always down a little bit. Maybe you have that problem too, but my stolen base attempts are typically under what the team attempted. Molitor's been thrown out a few times. I didn't have room on the list for on this card, I did not have room for caught stealing. But I did have room for batting averages, and that's what everyone takes a look at. So let's look at those. For Molitor's hitting 350. Yount is the one regular who's not hitting well yet. Cooper's way up there at 349. Simmons at 423. Ogilvy at 413. Even Thomas is at 305. Moore's at 325 and Gantner's at 367. So you can bet that this is going to translate into a lot of runs scored. And sure enough, it has. Here's our totals on runs. So if you look at the actual runs in the real life, or as the kids like to say, IRL, 116 runs scored by the Brewers at this point, 81 runs allowed. In my replay, we've had 142 runs scored and 109 runs allowed. So the bats have been a little bit hot early. We have two reasons why that is the case, and we're going to look at those now and come back to this card actually. But this is these are the actual numbers: 116 for runs scored, 81 for actual, and then 142 for runs scored in the replay, and 109 for runs allowed. All right, so let's look. This is the box score from here we go, from the first game that kind of threw off my numbers. The starting pitcher for the Blue Jays is Jim Gott, big right-hander. You might remember him. But the Brewers kind of took him to the woodshed, and I was slow in pulling him, which was a mistake that I made. But I was trying not to burn out the Blue Jays bullpen in the first game of the series, but it turned out to be that way. This is from April 14th, 1983. This is Game 8 of the season. Coming into this game, the Brewers had a record of 3-4 in my replay. And you can see what happened here. The Brewers scored 10 runs in the first 4 innings, and then they poured it on late in the game with a 5-run 7th. So a couple of things here. One, the final score was 18-5. So if we come back to my replay totals, and we just make this a normal game of runs scored, maybe it's a 3 or 4 run game, then we're already down to 128 runs scored for the replay. The numbers here, the hit totals were pretty crazy as well, as you can see. And there were 3 home runs in the game: a 2-run shot by Molitor, a 3-run shot by Ogilvy, and a home run by Ned Yost, adding to the carnage. So an 18-5 victory kind of skews my results a little bit from the early season. And then just 4 days later, this is from April 18th, against the Red Sox. The pitcher is Mike Brown for the Red Sox, who wasn't too good in 83, and things got out of hand here in a hurry, especially after Brown left. The Red Sox bullpen really let it get out of control even more. At any rate, Brown lasted 2 2/3 innings. 2 1/3, excuse me. He allowed 6 runs, and then the arsonists came in. Doug Bird, John Henry Johnson, and Mark Clear all got torched pretty well. Gorman Thomas's RBI totals are accounted for in this game. He drove in 6 runs with a 3-for-5 day and 2 homers. Overall, the power barrage was pretty impressive. Another 4 homers in this game. Simmons hit 1, Thomas hit 2, and even Roy Howell went deep around the pesky pole. And so the final score here was 17-6. So that's 35 runs. So if we just throw those two games out as outliers and replace them with shutouts, we're down to 107 runs. If we replace them with 4-run games, we're up to 115 runs and right on actual. Now, in terms of runs allowed, the Brewers have allowed more than 10 runs in a couple of games, but not too many have, well, none have gotten out of hand like this one. But you can see with 27 hits in this ball game, things were kind of crazy. I'm thinking these are outliers, these two games, so I'm not too concerned about them. But that's the danger of a small sample size, right? You're taking stats after 21 games, and you can't really take them too seriously, but it's nice to take a look, nice to take a glimpse and kind of see where your totals are heading. I'm totally expecting not only that, but the teams that the Brewers are playing in these first 3 weeks are all, except for the White Sox. They've played a few games against the White Sox, a couple of them, in the first batch of 21, but the teams that they're playing are below 500, so it might run a little hot. They have not gotten to the Eastern Division clubs yet, except for these games against the Red Sox and Blue Jays. But the good teams in the East in 83 are yet to come, and I'm sure things will cool off once they arrive at County Stadium. So this is where we're at. Now, if you are interested in this, let me know in the comments. I want to come back with some pitching data next week, and we'll take a look at those and kind of see where we are at that point. Having a great time with the dice version of Statis Pro. It's a lot of fun. It's entertaining, and I'm learning something about the 83 Brewers and the teams they were playing. So it's entertaining, and I'm learning at the same time. And, of course, those are my 2 criteria for judging a sim. All right. Well, thank you for this brief interlude and for putting up with my voice. We'll be back with more. Don't forget, tonight at 6 Central, we've got more baseball sims for you. And don't forget about checking out membership on my channel. Click on my channel name, Kurt Berglund's Baseball World. You can click the join button and find out all the information about what's going on for members on my channel. Find out about membership on the channel. Okay, my friends, thank you for being with me. Have a great day. So long, everybody.